Well, it's 420 and Netflix got smoked. Will Tesla bring back hope? All that and more on today's Stock Market Brief Show. My name is Michael Silva. If you're new here, welcome to the show. We use technical analysis and intramarket analysis to get a good idea as to where the market might be headed next. Hit that thumbs up button for me and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, if you like this type of stuff. Let's get into today's show. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. We're looking here at the 11 sectors that make up the S&P 500 right over here. And I just want to point out here the top 4 sectors, all defensive sectors here in the green, making their way up to the top of the list. Not the greatest, look for those that want to be bullish the markets. And we're going to talk about here some of the bullish and bearish things that are going on. If you take a look at the big 3, which is XLY, XLK, and then also financials, they make up a big portion of the S&P 500. When those are all in the red, it's very hard for the market to perform. And you can see the market was relatively flat on the day, and that really was held up by financials. So financials is going to be one that we're going to pinpoint on today. Technology was down pretty big, consumer discretionary, and then obviously communication services got pretty darn hit. As we know, Netflix reported earnings. Bam, very, very big move down. It's down 33.69% on the week. Other, communication type stocks that have subscribers also got hit. So Shopify was down 13.31% on the day. Roblox was down 12.5%. Disney was also down. And, this is a very interesting one to look at. A lot of people always want to buy the dip, and why I'm about to show you this is just to give you an idea, just to be careful in these environments, because this chart right here looks extremely bullish if you flip it back around. So I posted this on Twitter. If you haven't seen it, you can follow me there. But if I inverted the colors and then I also show you what this looks like, right? So notice here how price action was tightening up right here, and then we broke out today with some big volume. That is the Disney chart on, just flipped over in reverse. So can it turn back around and, obviously head back up? Yes, obviously it can, but just notice that it broke down on the daily time frame with some big volume right here, and there's previous, support right here. And the bears, well, they kept on making progress into this bullish camp right here, and they took hold today. So perhaps it's a one-off just because of Netflix, or it's the start of something bigger. Either way you look at it, it's in a bearish trend. So be very careful here until we get some confirmation that this can get fixed. Another one to watch is Facebook. It got absolutely mauled, 7.77% to the downside. Lucky 777 over here. But if I were to invert this chart too, you'd see that this kind of cupping, and this was broke out here, broke down, I should say, with some big volume. So that opens the gate to come test the previous lows here too as well. Okay, Amazon down 2.6%. Also, another big name, but it was just an inside trading day overall. Google, that was a big move down, 1.51%. It gapped up, reversed the entire move. It's been really choppy, obviously, as you can see here. It's just been going sideways, but just a lot of chop back and forth. Not only that, Apple, that was relatively unchanged for the day. We have Microsoft also relatively unchanged to slightly up on the day. And then if you take a look at NVIDIA, this was down 3.23% on the day. So that got hit pretty hard. And then also Tesla was down 4.96%. However, as we all know, can Tesla bring back hope into the markets? Well, after hours, right, we reported earnings. It is up in the after hours, basically taking care of all the losses that happened intraday. And I want to dive in a little bit deeper here. Okay, so we were down 4.96% on the day today, and you can see after hours was reporting earnings. These red lines right here is what the market priced in as far as the expected move goes. It was just over $90, and as you can see here, it brings you to around 1,070 or to a low of 890, and this is going to be, this is the expected move in the next. It'll expire on Friday. Okay, so as it stands right now, there is still some more upside potential, but it is getting somewhat limited as the market already moved up higher in the after-hours session. So that is something to just be mindful of. If I take a look at Tesla here on the daily time frame, it's right there in the middle of the channel. Are we going to be breaking out of this bull flag, right? It would be, if we open up at around the 1050, 1070 marker, it's going to open up right around here, right by that 20-period moving average. Is that going to bring in some more buying power to elevate us up higher as we go to come retest this upper channel. It's anybody's guess at this particular point in time. We really do need more data. It's definitely one of those areas where you need to be a little bit careful in. But as it stands right now, I mean, we had a nice big move up. We have a bullish flag, right? A little fake out day to day, and then we're going to be gapping up tomorrow. At least it looks like that for right now, which does set the stage coming into that 1200, or at least to retest it. So we'll continue to monitor it. If you look at the Qs here, will Tesla be the saving grace for the Qs? Well, the Qs, it was down 1.46%, and that's because a lot of these big names got hit. As you can see, it's really just trending sideways here. It came back within this little channel between the 50 and the 61.8% retracement levels. Tesla will probably lift this up in the after-hour markets, but is it enough to get back above that 50-day moving average? Starting out tomorrow, I think it's going to be an interesting day to really kind of dive into it. I want to zoom into the 15-minute time frame to give you an idea here. So first and foremost, we talked yesterday about the possibility for an inverse head and shoulders. We moved up, we came back down. This is building out that right shoulder here. As long as we can get back above that 5-day moving average, back above 344, that opens the door to at least try to get back to this upper risk range here at 350 and close this gap. Now, we talked about that on the SPY the other day, and I'll get into that chart here momentarily. But before we do, I had mentioned financials. Financials were, what really saved the S&P 500 today. If the financials were down, it could have seen some more weakness. And if I take a look at the XLF, what I want to call out here is the XLF is actually already at its upper expected move for the week. Not the greatest looking candle. Look at how we came outside of it and we closed right back on that level. Okay, so a shooting star type candle. This tells me that we may see weakness in the XLF. So if we see weakness here, is consumer discretionary or XLY and is XLK going to perform to really help the market? Well, Tesla so far looks like it's going to do its job. But if Tesla starts selling off and we get continued selling in those big mega cap names, the market could have a severe down day. And another thing to call out was obviously the 10-year yield. The 10-year yield backed off a little bit, and still with that even taking place, the financials was up. Typically, you have banks, they perform well when the 10-year yield goes up. Why? Banks borrow short-term, they lend long-term. So we'll see here if the market reacts tomorrow to that. Another thing to look at here is obviously the SPY. Where did we tag? The SPY tagged the upper risk range almost to the penny here and then started selling off. We kind of doodled around. So the upside potential on the SPY is a little bit limited as we stand right here. So that tells me if the market is going to rally, the SPY might not go, it might not, it has the potential to go further, but it's capped a little bit right here, just looking at the various different things like the financials. The big mega cap stocks, like I said, if those were to rally, this can bring it up, but you might need to focus more on the Qs or these individual mega cap stocks if that were the case, because there might be some more alpha there to generate. Okay, now if I look at the 15-minute time frame, we talked about the breakout, right? We'd come up here, we tagged the upper risk range, we filled the gap, it acted as resistance as we talked about, and we said we'd doodle around. So as it stands right now, this could be flagging, right? It could be flagging, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. As I think it's more than possible to come right back up to this upper risk range starting into tomorrow. Just given the fact that Tesla's up in the after hours, the futures market's probably going to lift this market up. But I would just keep note, the longer we stay up here, the better. The 5-day moving average will start turning around, and you want to start to see that hold, because if that's the case, that we can build the case for further upside here in the S&P 500. Now, if we take a look at crypto, I want to go over this kind of quick. Crypto, the buy and sell indicator is still on that sell indicator, and the price of Bitcoin really hasn't gone anywhere. Let's take a look at the daily time frames for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. All right, so we're over here on the FTX.US website. You can go to the more section and hit advanced trading. I use FTX.US. They sponsor me. They support this channel. It's greatly appreciated. You can trade here on this website for up to 85% less fees than the competitors. The owner is Sam Bankman-Fried. If you don't know who that is, I'd suggest following him on Twitter. Very good guy, and he's highly respected in the crypto community as well. If we've taken a look at the daily time frame here on Bitcoin, still under that 50-day moving average. The MACD looks like it's about to have that bullish crossover. It did pick up some momentum to the upside. So the last time we talked about this was like 2 days ago. We talked about this bullish candle, and we said that has a potential to actually move up from a bullish standpoint. This candle right here threw in a little bit of a curveball, right? We tagged that 50-day. It's still holding as resistance. So there's still work that needs to be done for the bulls. Hopefully it can hold up, right? There's nothing wrong with Bitcoin going up. It'd be nice to see. But as it stands right now, the sell signal is still activated, so I'm waiting for that thing to turn back around. If we take a look at Ethereum, similar situation. We haven't gone anywhere. There's been really no price action. So honestly, the bulls and the bears can, take their pick right now as to who's going to be the winner of this outcome. Although on Ethereum, we are above that 50-day moving average. You can see we're just holding on to it. If we start to take out the low of yesterday's candle or today's candle, well, technically yesterday's candle, which was right at around 30.35. Actually, I'll give you the exact number. It was 30.37. I think that opens the door to further downside, but we still have that 50-day moving average below us, and we still have some trap supply obviously above us. So as it stands right now, the bears, have the short-term control. The 50-day moving average, though, that is a positive sign. The MACD starting to flatten out to try to curl up here too as well. It's going to be an interesting fight. As it stands right now, I just don't see a good setup. So I'm kind of just taking it day by day until we get some more data. All right, everybody, that's all I have for you on today's episode. I wanted to keep it quick and to the point just to really kind of recap here. Big one to watch tomorrow is financials. It looks a little overextended. I think that's going to be taking a breather. If that takes a breather, it's going to probably, hold that S&P 500 sustained. Doesn't mean it's going to hold it down as long as the other tech stocks rally. But in my personal opinion, what that will mean is if this comes down a little bit, potentially fill the gap, that's the financials, we'll probably have the S&P 500 rather muted. So it could be a muted day, but just understand that there's still a lot of risk packed into the system, a big wide open range. So if we take out the low of, today, perhaps that opens the gateway down to some more downside on the S&P 500. As it stands right now, I just don't see that great of a setup other than financials. Looks like it's going to be potentially taking a little bit of a breather right now to potentially heading lower. All right, everybody, I will see you back here on the next. See ya.